fun because things are actually happening. Very different than most of the time when people get elected.
And I will shut down the federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the state.
Most of the time when people get elected, they claim all these things when they're running for president. Then they get into office and not much changes.
Individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws.
Protecting whistleblowers, which they didn't do at all. There was one of the worst administrations for whistleblowers.
Barack Obama's carefully crafted image takes a brutal hit as Joe Rogan and Bet-David expose the cracks behind the polished speeches and empty promises. They tear into his failed policies, legacy of division, and obsession with personal branding over real leadership, especially his administration's dismal record on protecting whistleblowers, which they ignored entirely. What's left isn't the icon his fans worship, but a hollow figure who sold America hope while delivering disappointment. The myth of Obama doesn't just fade, it gets obliterated beyond repair.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter. And
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him
Yeah,
before?
I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about Trump.
childish nickname, crazy conspiracy theories, weird obsession with crowd sizes.
The thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. Yeah, you're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000 watch. Why are you selling a watch? What are you doing?
Which is this thing that I think worked in 2017. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think people believe it anymore. We've gotten numb to all this stuff.
Talking to Rogan, and Joe says, look, let's face it, Obama was one of our best presidents we've had. When him and I are, I'm paraphrasing, to now switching from that was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even a year ago, to now this message here. Go ahead, Rob.
We did trust the government. Which is such a weird thing to say. I used to think it was the Obama administration. But boy, Obama during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
Barack Obama has coasted for years on an image so polished it could blind people to the flaws beneath. He promised hope, change, unity, and progress. But when Joe Rogan and Bet-David dig in, the illusion vanishes fast. Obama isn't the flawless icon his supporters adore. He's a politician who nailed presentation but fumbled substance. A man who built a brand on charisma, leaving a record that reads like a cautionary tale.
Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
It's amazing. He gets a glass of Flint tap water. I swear to God, he drinks it like this. And flushes.
Can I get some water? I'm still waiting for my water. I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? No, you bring water on stage with it.
Joe Rogan doesn't waste time pretending Obama was special. He rips into how Obama rode into the presidency on slogans, not solutions. He didn't win with policies. He won with a smooth delivery. He wasn't a statesman. He was a salesman, treating speeches like products. His calm, cool tone hypnotized crowds into thinking they saw greatness. But Rogan's clear. Speeches don't feed families, slogans don't secure borders, and charisma doesn't pay bills. Obama sold the dream, cashed out, and left America with the hangover.
There is what Obama said on the same video. There is what Trump actually said. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. And he's talking about George Washington. He said George Washington had slaves. Let's play it.
On both sides of a white supremacist
people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down a very, very important statue from Robert E. Lee to another name. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Excuse me, how about Thomas Jefferson? Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
The news has said that lie over and over and over and over and over again. The mainstream corporate-controlled news that wanted this narrative said that over and over and over again. They repeated.
Patrick Bet-David sharpens the attack, highlighting the arrogance behind Obama's brand, the smugness in every stage moment. Obama didn't just campaign. He cultivated a cult of personality, presenting himself as history's chosen one, above politics, a symbol of America's needs. But beneath the slick marketing was mediocrity wrapped in eloquence. Bet-David holds nothing back. Obama was less a leader, more an influencer, pioneering style over substance politics that turned the presidency into a performance.
Tell me what place Trump wouldn't go to on media where they would trash him. Where would he not go to? Would he not go to CNN? Would he not go to MSNBC? Would he not go to Jimmy Fallon?
I
Would he not go to Jimmy
think
Kimmel?
the correspondent.
Would he not go to? Would he not? He went everywhere. Right now, let me flip this on you. How many times have you seen Obama, Clinton, Hillary, any of those guys
Biden
go on Fox? Ever? How many times? The answer is never.
The failures weren't hidden. They were everywhere. Take healthcare, his so-called signature win. It was supposed to fix everything, lower costs, protect families. Instead, it became a bureaucratic mess, frustrating millions with higher costs or lost coverage. Obama's promises crumbled when reality hit. Rogan exposes the hypocrisy. A president who swore you could keep your doctor and plan while saving money delivered the opposite. That wasn't transformation. It was deception with good lighting and applause.
I think the best people age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man
Oh Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see that good.
Who aged the least? Trump.
Trump.
Trump just
This is something that
his brushed that off his shoulders like it was nothing.
Foreign policy? Bet-David laughs at the idea of Obama as an enlightened strategist. His record's disaster. ISIS rising, Libya in chaos, Syria's red line erased with cowardice. He backed off when strength was needed and meddled when restraint worked. He didn't bring peace, he left chaos. That pre-achievement Nobel Peace Prize wasn't just ironic, it was a cosmic joke. Obama loved being adored, but adoration isn't leadership. He wanted visionary status, but vision without execution is delusion. Bet-David crushes the unifier myth. Obama deepened divisions. Race relations worsened. Trust in government tanked. Polarization hardened. He talked unity, but left Americans more split, a divider cloaked in rhetoric. Fueling resentment he then feigned shock over.
These guys go, America to me is moved, but they got arrogance. And they move like they're going to control you forever. Abusive policies, the LGBTQ agenda, the woke policies. And by the way, Peter Thiel said it best when he was on a podcast with Barry Weiss. He said, you realize when Musk got up and he says, this is the most monumental election of all time. Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire, very important guy behind closed doors.
Then there's the Democratic Party. Obama was supposed to secure their dominance, solidifying power for a generation. Instead, the party collapsed under him. By his exit, Democrats lost the House, Senate, and record state legislatures and governorships. Bet-David makes it clear, Obama was the smiling face of Democratic decay, looking good while his party crumbled. He lectures on climate change from private jets, warns of economic hardship while pocketing millions. Rogan doesn't need to stretch. Obama's hypocrisy writes its own punchlines. The man of the people became an elite caricature, a humility professor living like a billionaire celebrity. His smugness persists, strutting onto stages to wag fingers at America, warning about democracy's threats. as if he wasn't part of the rot.
Peter Thiel was on Very Wise, a great podcast they did. He said the last time identity politics worked was in '08. It hasn't worked since '08. 08.
Obama.
He's saying Obama. And here's why he said it worked in '08. He made such an interesting point. He said the reason why identity politics worked in '08 was because Obama could go up there and saying, I'm the black person you've been waiting to vote for. And then he can go and says, I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, straight, gay, and then he would go to, and the reason why he could get away with it in '08 was because social media wasn't yet at a point where things would go and you'd be held.
He poses as the wise elder, voice of reason, the one who gets it. But Rogan says Obama doesn't get it. He created it. He birthed shallow performance politics, the influencer presidency, a cycle of speeches without solutions. Bet-David dives deeper into the illusion. Obama wasn't a revolutionary. He was a marketer. His skill wasn't governing, it was self-selling. He branded politics to make voters feel good while delivering little. His presidency didn't lift the working class. It betrayed them. Wall Street elites and Silicon Valley thrived. Ordinary Americans saw jobs vanish, wages stall, costs rise. Obama turned his term into a personal brand, cashing out post-White House. He's remembered for speeches, slogans, and a cool image, not bold policies or world-changing decisions. Cool fades, and when it did, he stood exposed as an empty suit.
Do you remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up, stopped a war from happening. I authorize the armed forces of the United States in a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians.
The Obama myth was always fragile, and Rogan and Bet-David don't just poke, they demolish it. They reveal a politician who failed to deliver behind the oratory, weakness behind the branding, and a man more into being remembered than making change. Obama didn't save America, he sold it a product. Like any overhyped item, once the shine faded, flaws were undeniable. He's not the giant he imagined, but a warning. Charisma isn't competence, speeches aren't solutions, branding isn't leadership. Rogan and Bet-David expose him not as a generation savior, but a salesman peddling hope, delivering disappointment, and walking away richer. The illusion's dead, the myth's gone, leaving a hollow truth. Obama was never the leader America needed, just the performer it fell for.
Biden got lucky.
Yeah.
It was such a profound moment. Meaning, now, what took place? Guess who lost all credibility in the room behind closed doors when everybody's waiting to see what he and she have to say? Guess who they are? Barack Obama
and Hillary?
and Michelle.
Oh, Michelle.
You used to sit in a room and you'd say something Schumer, you'd say something Pelosi, you'd say something Hillary, you'd say something Bill, you'd say something, everybody's like, Brock, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
The last one you go to, right? And I was like, hey, you guys just go live at your Martha's Vineyard type of stuff.
Yeah.
Your strategy didn't work.
The intellectual brilliance aura he cultivated was more about survival than strategy. He rode charisma's wave, but when it receded, failure's coastline emerged. His presidency left divided communities, broken promises, and an America forgetting what he stood for beyond slogans. Hope and change aged into irony. The duo doesn't spare his post-presidency either. Lavish speaking fees, Netflix deals, a beach mansion while preaching climate change, all reeking of a man cashing in on his brand. Obama wasn't changing America. He was building a personal empire. Democrats learned he could inspire crowds, but not build lasting infrastructure, leaving them gutted, leaderless, and scrambling for relevance. The chaos every election cycle proves it. That's his legacy. A party hooked on his image, crippled without him. Confused how they got here.
To volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto pen.
Obama's second term, he did none. Obama's first term, I think he did one. And Bush's first and second term, he did none on day one. This guy's come out the gates. One moment he's talking to World Economic Forum. Another second you're looking at him, he's talking to California, chewing out, Bass and Mayor Bass and talking to the folks there. Next minute he's in Vegas talking about no tax on tips. Next minute, you're seeing him talking to military folks. Next minute, you're seeing him on the...
Bet-David goes further, comparing Obama to a master salesman who closed the deal but never delivered. The box was stunning, the wrapping flawless, the pitch smooth, but inside was emptiness. Americans bought in, only to realize they'd been scammed by a top political marketer. He turned the presidency into a performance, a TED Talk on steroids, where applause trumped achievement. They shred the untouchable statesman myth. Obama was style over substance. He won over celebrities, ruled late-night comedy, and scored magazine covers, but stumbled at governance. His charm might earn history books, but history won't be kind when results are judged. Stripped of spin, his failures glare. Rogan doesn't let the hypocrisy slide.
Kamala.
Hi.
Hi.
You're both together.
How many times has she done that walk? What do you think?
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you, do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. The words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express.
We're going to have some fun.
Thank you both.
Say it.
It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too.
Sure. So obviously, she's not a professional actress. Probably did 10, 20, 30 takes. This is a business of can't stand each other behind closed doors.
The self-proclaimed underdog champ didn't mind hobnobbing with elites, vacationing with billionaires, thriving in circles he once pretended to challenge. His leadership wasn't about lifting people. It was securing his table seat permanently. The funniest part? His speeches feel dated now. Same pauses, cadences, rehearsed punchlines. They no longer dazzle. They're reruns of a primetime show now clogging rerun slots. The magic expired, leaving a faint memory of brilliance now seen as trickery. By the end, Rogan and Bet-David's dismantling erases Obama's towering image. In its place stands a man whose biggest win was convincing people he was more than he was, promising transformation, delivering stagnation, framing himself as history's giant, but likely remembered as a fleeting brand. The final blow lands hard. Obama's not the political giant his fans paint. He's a case study in image conquering substance temporarily, but not forever. Truth emerges, and no branding covers a hollow legacy.